What's up, y'all? LTJ Reeves is here. This is Throwing Light, and if you're not throwing light, you're not acting right. Before I get started, I want to remind. Look, let me pull my chain out. You can see. You're probably like, "Where is it?" But now you want to see my face. Look who it is. It's LTJ, y'all. Okay,
I
so
know.
back to the show. So, anyways, before we get started, I want to go ahead and remind you guys to please follow my YouTube channel. You were able to see this video because it goes linked to my YouTube. Please follow, tell people to follow. If you're really, really about being prepared for 2026 and leaning on each other and inspiring each other, please, please, please go check out the Throwing Light tour that I've been doing to Texas. You guys know what's going on. We're getting ready to go to New York, and that's at this video. So the next time you see me, I will have done this. So please go to the YouTube channel. You can find these Thornlight interviews. We've done a lot now. We're almost at 150. We're almost at our 150th anniversary. Is that not crazy? And we're just in January 2026. So it's moving fast, y'all. It's going to be here quick. Also, I've got the Throwing Light tour that you can go see. Pretty soon, you're going to just see more cities popping up and participating in this. And I'm really excited to see how many voices and experiences that we get together. And then you're also going to see some artistic projects that I'm going to be doing this year that I'm really excited for you. And as we get closer, I'll be able to reveal more to you. Please keep up with me on YouTube. Now, let's kick it over. I've got a really special episode. Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody in between. This is your Mr. Austin Eagle 2026, my Sash grandson, Graham. Hello, Graham.
Hello. Hi, I'm Graham, Mr. Austin
How do
Eagle
you feel?
2026. Um, no, I'm so happy to be here. I have been watching your Throwing Light interviews for a while, and I remember preparing for the Mr. Austin Eagle contest. I spent like 4 hours just back to back listening to interviews, trying to see what was going on. And like, let me hear the experiences of other title holders and other folk who who've been on this journey much longer than I have. And I remember sitting there wondering, when can I be on this? I want to be on this so bad. That would be so cool. And the day's finally come.
Where's your sash at?
It is actually hanging in the closet right now after MAL. I
Where's
packed
mine?
everything up and
Okay, that's fair. Mine's in the closet too, so but mine has dust on it.
after MAL, well, after MAL, I packed everything up. I was like, well, still need to get my own grease and my own boot blacking equipment. So like, let me just put it up real quick so it doesn't get more damaged and used and dry than it was for wearing it 5 days in a row.
Well, I would love to talk about MAL, but we're gonna talk about you, okay? So let's,
Absolutely.
you know, uh, Graham and I met before we even knew what we are and who we are now. I used to be kind of Graham's landlord, and
Yeah. Our
yeah,
first
yeah,
introduction was me yelling at you for a microwave.
that's yeah. And I didn't really remember it because the property that I worked at was problematic, and it wasn't like he was the only person yelling. So it would have just been another day for me. But he did apologize for it, and I don't remember it, and I don't care enough. So we're friends.
Thank you. See, I may yell, I may get upset, but I do apologize if I act out of control. I just really wanted
So
my top ramen and my microwave wasn't working.
you eating ramen?
I do. It's affordable, it's cheap, it's sustainable. I love it. It's delicious.
Right, living like a college student. So
Always.
check this out. Okay, so we ran into each other. Well, I was doing karaoke at the Eagle. I do karaoke every fourth Wednesday, by the way, if you want to come out and sing with me. And Graham was there. And yeah,
I was in a different
and
skin. I didn't look like this
how
back
long
then.
ago was that? It hasn't been that long ago, actually, but we have
Uh,
very quickly bonded, very, very quickly bonded. I would say that me and Graham have I'm interested to see what our relationship's going to be like over these next months. And so, because the one thing I do appreciate, Graham, is the reach out, the sincerity, the wanting to learn and to do the best. I really love this quality about Graham, and it's good. I feel like he's going to do phenomenal things, and you're going to do some phenomenal things. Why don't we start talking about the phenomenal things, okay?
sure.
Hey, Mr. Austin Eagle, what brought you to the Eagle, and what made you want to represent the Eagle?
So okay. I was first introduced to the Austin Eagle during my cosmetology school journey. One of my classmates and his husband had brought me out there after we had gone out. We were on the lake. We were, partying, having a great time. And his husband was like, "Oh, there's this bar, by the way, the Austin Eagle. We need to go check out after we're all done. We should go. We should go to the bar." I had only been familiar with Fourth Street. I knew OCH. I knew Rain. I knew of Highland. I knew of the other like the traditional gay clubs that we could go to down here in Austin. But honestly, I am an anxiety-ridden human. I have really, really bad anxiety almost constantly, and driving downtown really scares me. We have a lot of complicated roads. We have one-way streets that are like not clearly necessarily labeled. There's a lot of people walking, there's a lot of traffic, people honk at you, and I just don't like the whole mess. And when I went with them, the Austin Eagle was in its own area. It's got its own little strip. It has its own privacy. There's always some parking available. And I was like, this is an introvert's absolute paradise. This is great. I get to be queer, and also there's always a parking spot. This is mwah. And so that was my
Not
first
always.
introduction.
Not
No,
always.
you because you can park on the street.
No.
You can park on the
Not when
street.
there's parties and stuff. I mean, the Austin Eagle gets pretty busy, and so
Well,
no.
yes, it does because the park it is a gas station, kind of like strip mall parking lot. But the
However,
street
I do want
you
to
can park.
say, but did you start going before the Austin Eagle became the only thing there?
Ah, that's a good
Yes, all the
question.
businesses left because of I mean, I don't want to say this, but maybe someone might have been intentionally trying to mess with the power lines. Either
Oh, the four
way,
times it was cut?
okay. So,
Yeah.
haters gonna hate,
Haters gonna hate.
whatever. We're still here, we're still kicking, we're still doing the thing at the Austin Eagle.
Absolutely.
But all the other businesses left. So I think that it's because of the power grid issue. So the Austin Eagle is the only place there now, and it's great.
Yes.
I mean, how cool would that if you just expanded and used all that space and turned it into one bar?
To imagine having a Surratt store right next to it,
That would
that
be
would be so
super
cool.
cool.
That would be
Yeah,
so cool.
that'd be really
Um,
cool.
I don't think that there were businesses there when I was first introduced to the Eagle. But then to be completely honest, I always went there for the Austin Eagle. So the only thing I was paying attention to was the patio, the front door, and me getting to my destination.
No.
And that is really what drew me to the Eagle afterwards. The first night that I went, I realized, oh, well, it's a gay bar, but also like I'm not afraid of it. I'm not scared. And also, I was going through a very transitional period in my life. Like I said, when you first met me, I did not look like this. I was wearing a completely different skin, a completely different color palette. I had long, bleached blonde hair. I had a blonde beard and brows and everything, and it was the whole 9 yards. I was 25 pounds lighter. Um,
He pulled his shoes, all that. That's for sure. Or
well,
what is some kind of movie where the person transforms from a makeover? That's a makeover in front of you because he does not. He looks like a completely different person.
yeah, it's my favorite thing to do. I
And his
treat my
chest
body.
hair is red. Show him your
My
chest
mascara
hair.
is red.
Show him your chest hair.
Yeah, no, I do the whole shebang. My
Brandon's
arms are kind of
committed,
faded right
y'all. He's
now from
committed.
MAL, but I really do commit to the bit. That's one of my problems is when I commit to a bit, I overcommit and it doesn't stop. Um, and so blonde was my bit for a while. I experienced long hair through cosmetology school and I explored my feminine presentation side. I did used to wear makeup. I really did. I used to be a drag queen when I was younger. I did phase out of that a little bit and instead of just kind of in my daily life was presenting a little bit more femme. And that pendulum of gender identity did begin to swing. And it was out of my control. It was something that just sort of happened to me. And I realized, hey, you know what? This is actually what I kind of want to do with my look now. I've kind of always treated my body as a mannequin that I get to play with and dress up, and I get to decide what face he's going to wear, or what outfit, what color scheme, what hair, how he's going to carry himself. And it's ever since I was young, I've just kind of always seen myself that way as just kind of like a blank canvas that I get to redecide every couple of months. That like I want to do something new. I want to do something different. I want to pop out of the box and be unrecognizable. And that's what happened before Mr. Austin Eagle, but it wasn't just a purely aesthetic change. Um, I went through a huge transitionary period after the 2024 election. To be completely transparent, I am not a veteran, experienced, uh, longtime member of the leather community. I am about a year old in the leather community specifically. I do have experience in kink, and we can get into that a little bit later. But it does come from a darker place and from an unhealthy place necessarily that exposed me to this world. But what it was the Austin Eagle kind of introduced me to structure. It introduced me to safety. It introduced me to community. It gave me organization and it gave me something to kind of fall back on when I was feeling low, when I had low self-esteem, when I didn't feel like I deserved to be in the more downtown clubs. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't skinny enough. Maybe I wasn't popular or rich enough. Um, I found that at the Austin Eagle, I could talk to anyone there. I could start a conversation, I could chat anyone up, and we could have a wonderful night over beer, over a vodka Red Bull, over a pretzel and cheese, over a Tex-Mex salad, whatever the case may be. We were able to strike up connection and form that community there at the Austin Eagle, where I found that I wasn't able to get that necessarily downtown. It's a lot busier. There's a lot more variables to calculate when you're there, and the Eagle, as we discussed, because it's the only thing there, anyone who shows up to the Eagle wants to be there. There's an intention that they come with, that they want to be around the other patrons. They want to be part of that community. They want to experience the Austin Eagle for what it has to offer. They don't just want to be downtown getting wasted. And there is a difference in the vibe, in the energy, in the interactions that you have. And that's really what cemented for me the Austin Eagle as my home. Um, I am an Austin, Texas boy, born and raised. I was born here back in 1996. I was raised in the little outskirts, technically outside of the city of Austin. I am a suburb boy from Cedar Park. I do now live back in the Austin area zip code. I have a 512 area code to prove it on my phone number, and I hope to
I
never
didn't,
lose
I
it.
didn't know you were from Cedar Park.
I know, technically, I grew up in the outskirts of Cedar Park.
Cedar Park is cute, by the way. It's cute. I would live in Cedar Park. It's busy now. It's
It
look,
is.
it's
It's
as
grown.
packed as Austin is. I was there on a Friday night with my family, and I mean, just headlights going. It was so many cars.
No, right. Driving back through my old neighborhood, my old home, it's a little bit different now. It's kind of jarring. And also, I'm jealous because when I grew up there, it was nothing but woods surrounding my neighborhood. I didn't have a gas station that I could go to buy snacks or like do anything. There was nothing around me. And now when I drive past, I'm like, you put a gas station literally 200 feet from my house. Like it's at the beginning of the neighborhood now on the street. Like you have a school, there's a whole brand new like car wash complex. Like they've really done it up. And I was like, this could have been so great if I was a teenager. I wouldn't have had to drive 20 minutes outside of town to go get stuff done.
A lot of stuff has come. Let's go back to you doing drag.
Yeah.
So do you not have a relationship with drag at all anymore?
No, I do actually. So drag is always going to have a very special place in my heart. It was my first introduction to the queer community in general. When growing up, I was raised conservative Baptist in a very religious household, in a very conservative household. My father is from Beaumont, Texas. My mother is from Orange County, California. If you know what that means, is I grew up very, very Republican. Um, and there really was not any exposure to queer media, to queer people. I have vivid memories as a child of my parents kind of avoiding anything queer representation wise, or in public, if we were to see a queer person, there was a derogatory comment to be made. And from a young age, I kind of was aware of the temperature in my family, saying, "Hey, stay away from that. Don't engage, don't interact, and don't you dare wear it as, armor. That's not what we stand for as a family." And I remember being introduced to RuPaul's Drag Race back when it was really first beginning. I was maybe 11, 12 years old. And on TV, I was flipping through the channels and Logo, back when that was still a station, right, on cable. I was flipping through and I saw a bunch of these like heavily caked up makeup outfit crazy characters that were like clearly men, and I mean that with respect. Like I was a child and I was just kind of clocking what I was seeing, and I was like, well, these are guys. Why are they wearing makeup and wigs, and why are they talking like this, and what are they doing? But also, why am I enjoying this, and why is this so cool to watch? And I actually want to say it was the Booberella episode of RuPaul's Drag Race from like season 2 or 3 or something.
Season three, and it's probably episode three. So
Yeah, I
I
remember
know
it.
that because I was a college kid when that show came out, so I remember it very well.
It changed me. I was like, wait a minute. I've because I'd only seen my mother put on makeup, right? You know, the traditional, the foundation, a little bit of blush, just a little bit of eyeliner and mascara, and then we go to church. But then I was like, wait a minute, they're like done up. Like they've got lashes and their lipstick and everything's shiny and sparkly, and they're yelling and laughing and having a great time. What's going on? And then I really got into watching bootlegged episode of RuPaul's Drag Race on my sister's laptop that she was allowed to have for school, but I wasn't allowed to have a laptop for school because I was very clearly a gay child, and they didn't. I don't think they wanted me looking at like gay adult content, which fair. I was a child. Um, but I do have vivid memories of like taking my sister's like laptop after she was done with her homework, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch like my shows now, and it would be RuPaul's Drag Race. And when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to be feminine. I wasn't allowed to be queer. I used to get grounded as a little boy before puberty for screaming like a girl, which my voice hadn't dropped. My vocal cords hadn't been affected by testosterone or any of the natural biological processes my body would go through. And I remember being humiliated in front of friends and having them be sent home and me being grounded or sent to my room because as a child, when we're playing tag or hide and seek or whatever, and you get excited and you scream and your cords make a high pitched noise, that would aggravate my parents. And they did not want me screaming like a girl. So, like, I had a very confusing relationship with gender and like how I identified as a child because I was. I wasn't allowed to experience like my natural physiognomy, and I was punished for it at the same time. So it created a lot of dissonance in me that then once I graduated high school and I went off to Texas State for a minute, that's where I met my drag family, Lucille Balls, Mama for Roxy, Cheetah Daniels Kennedy, Brianna St. James, sorry, Brianna St. James, River Rains, all the people that were at the Stonewall Bar in San Marcos, Texas, when they still had it. It has since closed down. But I remember I walked up to my sister, who eventually, like, I learned she was like a baby queen. When I first saw her, I was like, "You're so beautiful, and I want to do what you do, and I just want to also be a drag queen performing at the bar. Please, like, help me, teach me." And then I became a little bit prettier because I just took. I was like, I want to wear makeup and the wigs and the heels and the everything. And so I started performing, and that was my introduction to queer society. That's where I learned about queer life and queer history for real, instead of just through a lens of this is a sin, this is disgusting, this is embarrassing, don't engage with it. It lasted from the age of probably about 18 to 20. And afterwards, I had gotten a job at a call center, and it took me out of San Marcos, and I really just didn't have the energy or the time to make that commitment to the bar, and I kind of pulled back from drag. Um, However, drag set the bar for my gender identity and for my queer experience as a young man. And through the early part of my 20s, I was very hyper feminine. I always had hair past my jawline. It was typically either like to here or like past my shoulders. And I would bleach it, I would dye it, I would color it. I didn't have a beard at the time, and I overplucked my eyebrows, and I would also dye them in a blue ombre, so they would be like a light blue going into a dark blue, like I was wearing makeup constantly. And that was all. That's always been my experience. So if you're wondering, does he always bleach his eyebrows and dye them crazy colors? Yes, always. That's not new to me. That's true to me. I love playing with my appearance like that. And so through the early part of my 20s, I did honestly have a bit of lower self-esteem. I used to think that maybe I wasn't man enough for certain communities, for certain activities. It really did, it stopped being a guiding light of my queer identity and experience, and it started actually becoming a cage that I kept myself in. Because once I started identifying as more feminine, I started telling myself, you don't deserve to be masculine. You don't deserve to feel like a man, and you definitely will never be perceived as a man. Um, And it really wasn't until I turned about 27 that that pendulum naturally started to swing and change, and I felt a change in myself and a confidence that I didn't know before. Um, I did grow my beard for cosmetology school because I wanted to experience what I could look like if I let my body decide and stopped fighting it so hard with makeup and razors and an epilator or whatever the case may be. Um, and that introduced a lot of jabs and jokes from the people that I worked with because they were so used to me being this hyper feminine person that when I started embracing a more masculine side of myself, they weren't sure how to interpret it, how to take it. And so they came with a little bit of jeering and some hazing. But once I got to the other side, it then became a brand new playing field to explore, where I was like, okay, now people actually kind of understand me as Graham, the grown-up man who has a beard now. And I got to leave behind the expectation of having to wear makeup or wear feminine clothing or conduct myself in a certain way for approval or acceptance. I learned to survive by being hyper flamboyant and feminine because it was non-threatening to a lot of people. I became kind of like a clown or like a court jester. And I learned how to put on different personas and personalities, which to this day I'm still guilty of. It's fun. It's fun to become somebody else for a little bit and then just navigate the world because you see how people treat you. But drag heavily influenced how I started my queer journey, and it established a baseline for confidence that I kind of had to relearn once I started attending the Austin Eagle and being more interested in the leather community and presenting myself in a more traditionally masculine way. Um, does that answer any of your question? I'm sorry, those are a lot of words.
No, no, I think this is your phenomenal story. I mean, a lot of people are going to relate to this. You have to understand a lot of people feel the way you do, but I think that's great that you're able to be yourself authentically and to represent that. So, why don't you tell everybody what your plans are? What are some of the things that you plan on getting involved in as the current Mr. Austin Eagle?
So that's a very big question that I'm starting to realize. I maybe not wasn't prepared for. When I first ran for Mr. Austin Eagle, I had no concept of IML or MAL or any of the broader community of contests. Um, One of the most painful questions I was asked in my interview portion was, "What other contests do you plan on attending as Mr. Austin Eagle?" I had to look all those judges in the face and say, "I'm not familiar with any other contest but the Mr. Austin Eagle contest. This is my first foray into this world, but anywhere that I need to be, I promise you, I'm going to show up. I'm going to show face." And I'm now on the other side seeing how vast and exciting and important this world is. And it's causing me to reevaluate maybe the angle and the dream that I have as Mr. Austin Eagle. I ran because this is my home bar. I am there far too often, honestly. But what I've learned is that there is a beautiful ecosystem of queerness that exists at the Austin Eagle. You have your daddies, you have your boys, you have the femmes, you have gender non-conforming individuals, you have people who are almost vanilla. On appearance and choose to present themselves in that way, but maybe once they get a little more comfortable with you, you see that kink side of them. There is such a beautiful menagerie of individuals that attend the Austin Eagle that I felt compelled after this last election to stand up. And I, as a regular attendee of the Austin Eagle who understands from the inside out how things work there, what the event schedule is like, how the people behave, what the do's and don'ts are kind of for, Austin, Texas, because the rules do vary state to state. We have a very, very red state and, you know, everything that takes place at other Eagles like Denver or NYC, maybe we can't facilitate that in our space, but it's not because we don't want to or because we don't value it or respect it. It's because in order to survive, to provide a space for people to congregate, we have to comply with certain expectations. um and I really remember hearing about the contest and going, I think I'm a good candidate to represent the demographic of the Austin Eagle. Yes, I'm young, yes, I'm new, but this is my home, this is my city, my heart. it lives and beats in Austin, Texas. I couldn't be happier being a Texan. I understand that maybe there's some not so savory opinions of our state and our governance and how we run things down here, but I would never trade being Texan for anything else. And being Mr. Austin Eagle became such a privilege. Um, because now I get to extend that same level of identity, of family, of community to anyone who walks through those doors. And I really found that myself, where I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was headed to or who I was going to find inside the Austin Eagle. But what I realized is that I have family that was waiting to accept me the whole time. I had mentors that were ready to teach me, that were ready to help me learn more honest truths about our history and our community and the importance of being leatherfolk and being proud of your kinks and your your fetish associations. This is not something to hide in the dark. And so as Mr. Austin Eagle, when I walked into it, I thought, well, let's focus on the political aspect. I that was my motivating factor. This 2024 election really highlighted the fascist authoritarian presence that we are contending with now as a society and as a queer community. And it kind of shook me to my core, and I felt like something needed to be done. I was not seeing enough individuals from my age range. I'm only 29 years old. I wasn't seeing enough of us stand up and wanting to take a stand to say, hey, this is wrong. We need to change direction. We need to be talking about this. We need to be planning for how to take care of the most vulnerable of us because it's coming. Whether or not you want to admit it or face it, like the storm is coming and we have to be prepared to weather it. And that was my driving force with the Mr. Austin Eagle title. So I have a bit of a different trajectory where I didn't enter because I was passionate about necessarily a hyper specific kink or fetish or identity. It came from a deep rooted need to serve my immediate community and family in my home city. And this was the opportunity that I had to reach out and grab it and do the best that I could. So I went for it.
I love everything that you said. I also identify because I was only 1 year old when I got the title too. So,
It's a
uh,
tradition in Austin, right?
well, I look, I grew a lot. I'm still growing, so I'm
Oh
excited
yeah.
for your growth, but man, I've aged so much in the community. It feels much older than what going on. It'll be 4 years this August, I believe. So it really changed my life, and I can only wish the best for you on this journey, and be open to the growth and be open to a glow up. You know what I'm saying? And you can make that glow up last for as long as you want it to last, Graham. And I'm still at the beginning of so many things that I want to do. But I've accomplished so much. You're going to accomplish so many things too. You're going to represent this community great, and it's going to be exciting for you to learn all these things about the community that makes it resilient, makes it strong, makes it um, we're superheroes,
Right.
we are. And it's pretty damn cool to be, a human being and be a superhero at the same time. I got one last question for you, Graham. Are you
Yeah,
ready?
what's that?
It's the question I ask everybody right before we wrap up. What is one aspect of the
Already?
community? Yeah, already.
All
This
right.
went about fast. Well, you can come on here anytime and you want to co-host with me sometime? I'll let you.
Absolutely. I have so much more to say. There's so much more of me that needs to be expressed.
Well, everybody, stay tuned. Looks like I might be having my own little co-host. That's gonna be cool. What is
But
one
no, let's hear
aspect
it.
of
What's the
our
question?
community? Listen, this is an important question. What is one aspect of our community that you feel we are not shedding enough light on?
Okay. So I'm going to be honest. Um, I love the conversation surrounding diversity and inclusion and visibility. However, I want to take it a step further because I believe that visibility that doesn't lead to action is opening up targets for the most vulnerable of our community. And while I want our community to be visible, I want my trans siblings to be visible. I want our non binary siblings to be visible, our kink siblings to be visible. Every aspect of our community is important. But if we are not fighting to protect them when they're being told they can't use a bathroom, when a tip line is being set up to call and report your neighbors for using the wrong bathroom. If we are not actively talking about working towards and fighting for protections and safety for those groups, all we're doing with visibility is setting them up to be attacked, to be bullied, to be targeted by people who want to see us erased in silence. And I think that part of my mission as Mr. Austin Eagle um, is to fight for the most vulnerable members of our community to feel comfortable in public, to feel safe, to know that there's an entire group of queer people ready to put themselves between them and any other danger that they may perceive. Um, we need to keep the visibility and the inclusion and diversity going, but we need to also keep in mind safety, protection, and the support that those groups may require, because we are facing an actual threat right now. And I don't want us to lose sight of the actual goal, which is survival, making it to tomorrow. All of us.
Everybody, Graham's going to have a great year. I'm excited to see what he does, and he knows I'm here for him. We are definitely bonding a lot, and yeah, we are friends, and it's pretty cool. All right, Graham. So y'all look for Graham more. He kind of gave me an idea with this co-host thing, so we'll see.
Yeah, please reach out to me. I'm on Instagram at Fam Haggett, FAMHAGGOT. I am on Facebook, Graham Wilson. Just look for Mr. Austin Eagle 2026. Please feel free, hit me up, reach out to me anytime if you've got questions. But I
And
cannot wait to show y'all what I'm gonna do, and I can't wait
I'm
to
going
talk
to
to all
give
y'all.
you a gift right now, Graham.
Yeah, what's
That's what
up?
you're going to do. You ready for it?
Yeah, what's up?
You are the host of the 150th episode of Throwing Lights, and you're going to interview me. Are you ready for it?
I'm gonna enter my
Been a
name.
while since I've been a guest on the show. It's only happened once, but it's about time for people to get a check in on what's really going on with LTJ. So,
Okay.
y'all, the 150th episode is coming up, and it looks like Graham is going to have the keys to drive. I trust him. I hope y'all trust him too.
I think I got this. I'm excited.
So, there's one thing to do, Graham.
What's that?
Close it.
This has been Throwing Light with LTJ Reads. And you know what we say here. If you're not throwing light, you're not acting right.
Boom! Give me a high five. Ready?
Hey.
There we go. All right, y'all. Remember, stay tuned. Keep up with Throwing Light as we expand and do new things in 2026. This has been Throwing Light, and we're out.